Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Dragons in Space. So we're going to resume our temporary campaign, waiting on near future to finally update, which hopefully will be sometime soon. It looks like they are working on it still. I did check on it today. But for now, we'll load our intermediary campaign. Now, this campaign does have a lot of what we had from the other campaign already restored in terms of technology. Thanks to the rapid advancement of the tech team on the community tech tree. You can see we got a huge tech tree to fill out. We're getting very close to nuclear propulsion, which will be a very nice thing to have. So let's see where we left off with our missions. One thing we need to work on is our tour craft. It is structurally imbalanced. We need to make sure that it can fly correctly, because that craft can also be used to recover astronauts from orbit. And we really need that capability. This was the one. And our problem is that we have intake that's out of alignment. It's got 4 of them right now. And it's got one on this side that is not mirrored on the other. That causes an imbalance that we cannot handle. Now that problem should be solved. All we need to do is test it. Okay, we are now in simulation mode. This is not a permanent effect on our career, because it's only meant for testing purposes. Because it's only meant for testing purposes, I'm going to let the boosters go. And same for the liquid. We just let those go also. Very gently. But what we want to do, we want to get this up to speed and make sure that it's not going to yaw left or right as it has been on some of our re-entry attempts. Make sure that simply replacing that exhaust nozzle has resolved our imbalance. Because we need this to be able to travel at times 4 to get it safely to and from where we want it to go. And that we're still experiencing engine shutdown for some reason on times 4 on the right side. Maybe we just don't have enough atmosphere in general. No, it says it has plenty. Just this side's not getting it. Or it's getting it at an imbalanced rate. This is very bizarre. So what that tells me is we're going to need a different intake configuration. That's simply not working. So what we're going to try to do instead is we'll take off these. No, not that. Fire game. Okay, you go try to grab that. Thank you. We're just going to take these up a size category. And we'll manually move them with the move tool. Now that shouldn't interfere too much with anything, so we'll leave it there like that. And let's resimulate that. If it's still doing the same thing and yawing to the right. So we may need to turn this into a one-engine vehicle, which is definitely viable if necessary. Same procedure as last time. Get rid of the spare stuff. Level out due east. Still going good. Times 4. Still going good. So the problem was that we simply had 2 smaller intakes for these 2 engines. And it was causing the fight for air between each side. There's still a very slight yawing to the right for reasons unknown. But generally speaking, it's still flying far more accurate than originally. And this is far more tolerable. Let's test water impact just to make sure that nothing's changed in its landing behavior. So far, so good. Got a very, very stable glide. There goes the chutes. Might need a couple more chutes, maybe about right there. Let's see how it handles the landing. Smooth landing. Alright, so we know this thing's good for water. But we also know that it needs to have its landing gear, or its chutes balanced a little better. And there we go. Now we don't actually want any cripples on this mission, we just want the probe core to guide it. The reason we don't want any cripples on the mission is we're going to be going up to recover other cripples. Welcome aboard, Lacagit the Magica. Alright, we're changing over to mission mode because we're going to go try to recover some of those orbiting Kerbals and bring them into our space program. Just to make sure it doesn't have too much difficulty maneuvering with the large tanks in space. And that should help with axial tilt when we're in orbit. Alright, so let's go get some astronauts. Okay, first things first, let's find out where the first one is at. Like it's about to come around the corner here. There may be two of those very close to each other. It's just the right spot for us to start our ascent. And yes, you do assist with the takeoff. The afterburners are used to help get the thing to orbit. They do cut off automatically though when they exit atmosphere, so not a big problem. Engines do get a little warm on here, surface control do on the but it's nothing serious. Hey T, welcome aboard, man. Just got here in time for us to go catch some Kerbals from orbit. We're after this guy right here. There goes the cut out of the boosters. We'll let those go away. And we'll initiate our primary liquid boosters. And we'll start our nose over here. start working our way towards a rendezvous. Ooh, that was getting close. And that right there is a good initial approach. Now what we'll do is once the target is within a few thousand meters of us, we're going to do a full burn to bring ourselves up to its speed. We have enough horsepower to do that fairly quickly. Matter of fact, we'll go ahead and start easing ourselves in alongside it. Alright, now we need to start matching speed with it. And we have parked ourselves right alongside the thing. There it is. And our relative velocity is now safe enough that we should be able to easily get the astronaut, the Kerbal, from the other craft to us with no problem. We're going to slow down just a bit more so that we can make sure that if we do bump it, nothing breaks. And that should be a safe speed right there. Alright, so let's go grab this Kerbin. Hello, Kerman. Alright, Ambin. There's your target. And now we just wait. I'll have to stop to make periodic adjustments. Now the fun part is, am I going to be able to get him on board without separating the tanks? What do you think, Teague? Will his big head fit between those huge fuel tanks? I'm kind of skeptical. Alright, we're almost there. There's the belly, obviously. All those carbon fiber tiles. So the hatch must be over here on the other side. There it is, crew hatch right there. Oh, this is going to be fun to look at. A little bit disorienting. Hey, he fits between them. Yay! And that is one Kerbal recovered by the tourist shuttle. So we now found it can serve multiple purposes. It can do both tourist and crew recovery, which is awesome. See who else we got out here. We can set up a slight orbital delay and catch up with, have him catch up with us. He's at 84,000, we're at 75. We need to expand our orbit some. Out of power. Nope. So why don't I have control here? There we go. Alright, so we're going to slow down so that the other guy can catch up to us. At least that's how the theory works. And we have to go into a higher orbit. There we go, coming together right here. Perfect. We'll just warp around. And there he comes. Alright, we need to slow down relative to him, so let's go ahead and flip over. I know we are very close to him, I believe. Let's see, distance to target. Can we see from here? Nope. We'll have to check on the astral map here. How far do we plan ourselves from him? Where are you, little thing? You're out here somewhere. Oh, there he is. Right back there. He's actually closing on us. Good. At a very gradual speed. We want to slow that down just a little bit more. Because we don't want to collide so fast we break something. So we're going to be going at no faster than 2.5. That should prevent anything from breaking while still closing. Alright, we're going to just have him moonwalk the rest of the way. Or spacewalk. Alright, so let's... And this is 2. No, this is a shuttle type launch system. It has about 3 stages. It has solid booster stage, a liquid booster stage, and then a jet spaceplane recovery stage that does a re-entry and can actually fly back to the Space Center. So 3 pieces, but it can do a lot of missions in one go. We'll just speed up time so we can get them there and get them on board. Alright, he's going to have to slow down just a tad here. We don't want him to smack into the side of the thing and pass out. See, there's our liquid stage right here, and you can see the 2 detaching separators connected to the side here. And there's 2 we've safely captured from orbit. So I think there's another one out here. And now we're just going to repeat that process. We got 2 more actually, I think. Yeah, 2 more to do. I think we have the fuel to do it too. F5 just in case we don't. So we will set our new target. Yeah, these already set, so you just got to do the burns. Again, we're just going to burn prograde on our orbit towards the horizon. And there we go, passing within 0.3 kilometers. You can't get much better than that. This will be our third astronaut capture. I don't think we're going to be able to do much more than that. No, we didn't burn that much fuel for this one. We might be able to do both of them. We'll try for them all, but if we can't get them, I'll have to return on monopropellant, which will be kind of risky. So we probably want to warp to about right here so we can flip over and slow down. Actually, what I'll do before I warp, I'll go ahead and flip. We'll be close enough that do what we want it to be, that when we get to the warp point, we'll be facing in the correct direction. Right there, that should be good. Alright, so we're going to warp to just before the intersection point, right here. This will be our third astronaut capture. This thing has a lot of horsepower, so it can stop on a dime. The thrust to weight's just perfect on it. Looking good on our approach. So there's our target in the distance. We're already within capture range for the astronaut to walk if we wanted to, just a little bit far apart. Yeah, they can do pretty amazing stuff, I agree. Same rule as before, 2.5 passing speed just in case they collide. We'll switch over to the Kerbal now and have it walk. We have so far welcomed 3 new Kerman into the fold, this being the third here. 2 more ready for capture out there. We'll be grabbing them also. If all goes well, we'll actually be flying them straight back to the Space Center on the re-entry vehicle. The only reason, Teague, that I like to get close to the other craft is a time issue. You see, I don't like the idea of the Kerbal splattering across the front of the ship by going too fast, and me being a poor judge of how fast to slow down. So having them a little close gives you a little bit more wiggle room on the velocities you're using. And there we go. Almost to it. This craft can carry up to 8 Kerbals at one time. It's got 2 Mark II crew hatches, each one able to hold up to 4 Kermans. So there's 3. Pilot, scientist, and a pilot. Ooh, a good combo. Yeah, it can be kind of tricky. The heck just happened? I just lost control for some reason. We haven't lost electrical charge, so there should be no reason that happened. Oh, satellite relays are going out on us. This is a probe-driven craft. So it makes losing satellite a bit of a problem. CurbNet's not fully complete yet, so we still have some issues with communications. Show you what I mean. That's CurbNet right now. You notice the relays aren't exactly in the best shape. Matter of fact, I may go ahead and pop these chutes when we re-enter to make sure that if the probe loses control, we won't lose our new crew. But if it stays in control, we'll be able to fly it back to the Space Center. Alright, so we need to collect the next Kerman. That's going to be Hellman. I'll go back to orbit. That Hellman is target, and it is. Alright, then we just need to speed up and once again bring ourselves around to capture that probe. Just need an intersection point. Looks like we're not going to have to do much to get one with this one. That's perfect right there. Now our oxidizer is starting to get kind of low, so I'm probably going to re-enter after this one. I don't know, we might be able to get the last one. No, Beeples. Beeples is quite back there. I'm not sure if we'll be able to get Beeples or not. But I'll be happy for 4. Yes, I play without the extra ground stations. I build my own network. That's why early is so challenging. If your network doesn't work properly, you won't have full coverage. This one is getting to the point where it's in reasonably good shape. We've got satellites and relays around both. Well, we have at least one around Minmus. Need to get one around the moon. Although it wouldn't help much right now, they're in alignment. We got a few in orbit of Kerbal. We have one orbital relay sat right here, the high polar orbital ComSat. And then we have another over here that is the northern hemisphere ComSat, which spends most of its time on this outer loop covering that side of the northern hemisphere. Alright, so as before, we need to flip back around to antigrade so that we can make sure that we don't collide with Mr. Hellman's vehicle. Alright, now we can time loop to where the intercept's going to be. You can tell where KSC is, it's right here. It will be just a little past it when we're making rendezvous with Hellman's capsule here. Hopefully we'll still have a satellite relay signal from here. Won't be a strong one, but it should hopefully still be an effective one. Distance to his capsule is rapidly closing. Now all we need to do is close this gap, so what we're going to do is first stop our momentum relative to the target, then actually fire at the target if I can find out where the target went. Here we are. And there we go. Now we're aimed directly at it. May have slightly miscalculated on this one. That's bad. Yeah, if you don't learn from your mistakes, you're not going to be able to play this game very well very long. I think spacewalk range minimum is 2 kilometers, so if we can get it within that, we're good. We are good. And we have just enough oxidizer to make the re-entry burn. Yeah, it's just a kid. I mean, that just means they got potential. They'll get over their, you know, the aspects that make it difficult for them to learn. Oh my goodness. We are out of ComSat range. Fortunately, these aren't going to get close enough to even, you know, think about colliding. And we'll be good until we get back into ComSat range. It handles amazingly well. I've taken this thing up and down several times. It's a gorgeous re-entry vehicle. No, it flies right now. Doesn't need any additional lift whatsoever. Alright, we got all 4 of our crewmen. Now we got to do is get them home, which was going to require a radio signal. And if possible, being as close to KSC as we can when we do our reverse burn. So it looks like we're going to probably initiate a reverse burn somewhere around there. And man, that's going to be a lot of spare pods to destroy. Alright, so first things first, let's finish burning off everything and kill our apoapsis. That's done. Goodbye, tanks. Maneuver away from the tanks. Have fun, fellas. I'll see you later. Flip to re-entry angle. Pitch 20 degrees nose up. Actually, more like 7. And then wait. We are going to overshoot KSC and have to fly back to it. There it is, right there. Monolith is now our target for return guidance. Now we are going to keep radio signal because of how close we are to the Space Center, so we don't have to worry about that. Big wings means a lot of friction, a lot of heat, and a lot of exploding. So I tend to avoid them on space planes for re-entry. . We have made contact with the atmosphere and are shedding velocity. We've got a shallow angle of descent, which means the lift generated by this craft's wings will help to pull it up, slow it down. Basically, it's a gliding re-entry. As soon as it hits about between 20 and 25,000 feet, you'll hear the liquid engines for the afterburners kick in. And then we will turn this thing around and fly it home. We are leaving re-entry velocities. About to exit ionization. We can now pitch nose down without having to fear re-entry. What do you think of that, T? Isn't she a beauty? Now all we have to do is turn around and go home. See how far away we are. Not even that far away from the Space Center. This should be an easy trip back. Just waiting for those jets to kick in. We might even start to turn. May as well. There goes the Panthers. No, the nose is not a fairing. That is a Mark 1 nose cone. He flies incredibly well. I mean, the maneuver is just remarkable. I know it's part of it's the Panthers, but I think part of it's the fact that I don't have large wings. It's just the right size on the wings and proportions across the craft that it can slide down through the air evenly and uniformly without jerking the front or the back in either direction, or making it flat spin like a napkin. And then the engines simply correct the direction. Plus the Panthers are, full 360 vectored thrust. Now all we got to do is get our speed back up and aim for home. Yeah, very similar. It also has air brakes on here too, which I didn't actually use on the descent, but could have if control proved an issue. Good for landings though. So what I want to do now, I haven't deployed the chutes. That's good. I thought I had already, just in case the probe went bad, but I guess I remember now. I chose not to due to the fact we're coming in so close to the Space Center that they wouldn't be needed. Now the chutes wouldn't deploy until much lower altitude anyway. Hitting this thing to fly perfectly straight is a pain in the butt. Wants to lean to one side or the other. Alright, let's do some time acceleration, see if we can get the guys back quicker. If all goes well, I'll be landing these 4 crewmen after returning from space with them. And welcome to everyone who's joined the stream. It does borrow a lot from that design. We're already coming up on the Space Center. There's the secondary airfield at Island Runway. And there is the actual airfield. Alright, we can start coming down now. I'll switch over to the normal jets for the landing. Depends on what I'm going for. If I'm going for pure speed, the Whiplash. If I'm going for control, the Panther is definitely king. So we'll just let this thing fall now on its own accord. Throttle back to half engines. Put down the gear. Put on the air brakes to help stabilize. Between the air brakes and the tail, you almost have a crosshair for the runway. Path guidance looks really good. We are right on the money. Dropping speed further. Going into a glide. Just in case things go wrong. We're a little off center here. Like it's going to be a gorgeous touchdown. Give it a little thrust for vector control here. Oh, we hit too hard. Or I thought we hit too hard. We did kind of hit too hard, but what was important remained intact. I'll take it. May have to adjust the height of the landing gear just slightly. Lower it down a little bit more. Give it a little bit more clearance. Taxi it back to the base plane hangar for repairs here. Maybe I should put one underneath the nose cone. That would probably help a ton. It'll prevent it from tipping forward on landing and bouncing itself. I don't think I have them unlocked yet, but as soon as I get them, that will definitely be an option. And we are parked. Fortunately, the 402 pieces were the empty fuel section and a nose cone. That was it. So we have rescued all the crewmen. They are now part of our space program, and we earned a crazy amount of money from it, due to it being the accelerated temporary career. Let's see what we can get for research now. Ladder, sea chakra container, and row max wheels. Or save money so that we can get the nuclear engine. Hard choices. Although heat management would also be useful before we get the nuclear engines. I really want these. The graphene radiator wings and tail fins that I used on the Phoenix 2 project, if you remember right. That is 710 away. Pilots can only control from a cockpit, an active cockpit. The places that they were being stored were crew quarters, transport quarters. So they didn't actually have a means of controlling the craft from there. I'll show you the vessel here in just a moment so you can see. We'll go ahead and grab those, cause those will be useful on our satellites and probes. Also, it leads to this, the Twitch, one of my favorites. Okay, so let's go take a look now at the space plane we just used. Although it's in an older state, I'm going to have to update it because I made some design changes when I found out the airflow wasn't working properly. This is a very early version of that design. What basically happened is I took all the front intakes off. I moved this back here. Now resized it. It is not using mirroring like I was hoping it would. There we are. The plane you have right now is this. Except for one thing. That is not in alignment with the body of the craft like it should be. There we are. And we also had another set of chutes on the back because it was rear heavy. And that's the design we're working with right now. Now the sections that you're talking about which contain the crew were these Mark II crew tanks. All they are is their habitation space. They don't actually have any control systems. If you look at this one here, you see these are all command modules. Has a command option in here. Now if you go over here to utility, go down to the Mark II module crew tank, there is no command section. You just the lifting surface and just a science experiment, which is the crew report. You can't take crew reports from in them, but you can't really do anything else. We're going to do a little bit of flight testing here. I'm going to change over to simulation mode. Alright. Now all we're going to do is we're going to take off and land the thing, make sure that I've got the balancing right on the landing. You may notice there are no control surfaces on the wings. The only thing they do is they serve as extra lift in the center. All the control is front and back. It's like a seesaw. It pivots right on that lifting point. That's one of the things that gives it such maneuverability. So we're just going to fly out here, turn around and come back and make sure this thing will land without busting its nose repeatedly. I've landed this thing before. I don't think it should do that. We're testing to see if it'll land without adjusting it. Maybe it was just pilot error. As you can see, this thing has unbelievable control. I just spun it like a top in the middle of the air and put it directly back on the course it was coming from. I love this design. It's, I mean, spectacular. I am way out of whack this time. I just landed too hard last time. I was impatient, wanted to get down. As you can see, you can land just fine as long as you don't force it to go down quickly. Ideal landing speed is probably around 70 to 60, which is about the same as its takeoff speed. Just do it again and make sure. A little too hard. Yeah, I think I may want to add a landing gear that is closer to the nose cone, or move these, or just slide these forward. That may do it. Same exact result we had before on that other landing. Too easy to smack the nose. So we've got to put it to where the nose pressure point is a little bit further up. Let's see if we can slide it. Placement of the gear makes all the difference in the world. They're slightly higher than the rear, but that's probably a good thing for takeoff. Just make sure they're on the correct axis here. That should do it. Yeah, I would strongly recommend that if you have science equipment, you want to put it in an internal bay. Beyond the re-entry heating, if you decide to make something really fast that's going to burn up, you also have the drag, of course. So, I mean, you got two aspects there that become a real problem at high velocities, your drag, and then just the fact that science equipment is delicate when it comes to temperatures, it'll just explode. Now, if I'm not mistaken, with this slight up nose angle, this thing may take off on its own accord, which would be beautiful. Nope, it didn't. Oh well. Alright, let's hit that landing gear problem that's been fixed. And the answer is most definitely yes, it has definitely been fixed. What a gloriously maneuverable craft. Almost too maneuverable to land, in my opinion. No, perfect. Again, beautiful. Although I think I may need to turn off maneuvering on the rear gear. Yeah, turn off that. That'll help with the landing some. Alright, so we confirmed this craft is in great shape now. The last design flaw has been fixed, and I need to fix that on the delivery system as well. Alright, let's see if we can go mimic this over in the orbital space hangar, or the vehicle assembly building. What we determine is this needs to be more like that. Oh my. That definitely is in the wrong spot. This is going to be entertaining to try to get to work out right at this angle. That looks right. That looks right. That does not look right. All right, one way to make sure that we've got this lined up correctly is to launch it and recover it. Now this thing is still angled too far forward on the bottom. Now it's too far back. Like you can't find a happy medium with this thing. I guess that's the best we're going to do right there. Now this is just a test, so we don't care what happens to the rockets. Those wheels still look tilted inward. Whoa! There's one of the boosters. They're having a fun time. Okay, looking good. Now let's see if the wheels are going to act right. A little bit wobbly, they're definitely not stable. Workable, but not stable. That's fair. Think I know what I'm going to have to do. Don't want to do it, then I'm going to have to do it. Hmm. Alright, that should solve our wheel alignment issue. Alright, let's restore it now. That rocket needs to be slightly higher. too high. We need to bring that down toward a third rung. Well, if I could actually see through what I was doing, it'd help a ton. About right there should be good. Yep, clearance for the tail. Properly in alignment. So we'll want to bring this up to about, really, perfect. Looking beautiful. Except for that connection to that parachute. Alright, everything else looking good. So I think we can save this, be done with it. So what's our next mission now? Pressure readings, saving another Kerbal. We're going to wait till we have some more missions to recover more Kerman before we actually send that up for a recovery mission again. Survey mission to the moon. Satellite in orbit of the moon. And satellite in a Colonnoia orbit around Minmus. All good missions for this stage of the game. A lot of stuff involving the moon, so we definitely got to go to the moon soon. The moon currently does not have any communication satellites, so we need to put one there. I think we can do that before we call it a night. Let's open our satellite delivery system here. Our antennas haven't been upgraded yet, so we still just have the basic relay arrangement. And to the moon we go. This is your very basic satellite delivery vehicle. Nothing special about it, just enough fuel to get it to the moon or to Minmus or in orbit of Kerbin. we're just going to start nosing over a little bit to the east here. Very, very controllable rocket. Alright, picking up really good speed on a great trajectory. We have clean booster separation. Engaging a liquid engine. And we've just hit orbital altitude on the apoapsis, so we can now focus on horizontal velocity. I'm going to go ahead and jettison the aeroshell cover. Go ahead and open our antennas. I'm going to have a lot of re-entry friction or heat at this point, at this altitude, at this speed. Continuing to add horizontal velocity by firing towards the horizon, getting around the planet, falling past it. And we are now in orbit. I just got to figure out where the moon's at and burn for it. Oh, I forgot to toggle over. We're not actually in simulation mode right now. We're in mission mode. We fixed that right quick before we start our burn. So we'll go ahead and set target there. Now we need to be at a 45-degree angle to the moon to rendezvous with it. We want to do it from this side, the dark side, at about right there, right where Beeble's derelict currently is. We'll go ahead and fast forward to about right there, and then flip over in order to make the orbit change. Just got to orbit around a little bit further now. About right here. And now we can start actually accelerating towards the moon. That's our first stage burning off, so we will separate the tank off and engage our tool. And the poodle will take us the rest of the way. And we have contact. Take a look at the moon closely and see where it wants this orbit at. So it wants this orbit at 232,000 by 234. We currently have a periapsis around 391, but we can bring that in closer. Tweak it a little bit with monopropellant here. There we are. Almost exactly to the periapsis altitude, which should allow us to just adjust the orbit. Oh, this one is going backwards, retrograde. I want them to do a little bit more than what I thought. I want to come around this way on the other side. There we go, 236. So that'll put us almost into a matching rendezvous orbit with the orbit that it desires us to take. Once we hit that periapsis, we can just cut the engines or reverse our thrust and match that orbit, and we should get an easy mission match. Now, in the meantime, we need to be checking for missing data. So far we have all of it around Kerbin space, so what we're going to do, this Kerbal alarm clock, I wonder if it's already cleared for 1.3 yet. Well, can't take that risk, we'll just have to warp to here. There comes our probe. Fortunately still in range of KerbNet, thanks to the high polar relay there. Although it looks like the estimated orbit's a little off, so we'll have to adjust that some. Alright, now we just got to accelerate where it's on the ecliptic and then counter the well, first off, we want to counter the forward momentum so that we come into an orbit, and then we're going to adjust the tilt to the orbit. Go ahead and bring this baby in. In the meantime, we can be pushing the orbit towards the equator like it should be. This almost looks like a perfectly equatorial orbit. That's very close to what we want it to be. Alright, so we want to, first off, let's go ahead and adjust the tilt. So we're going to wait till we hit this down node here and then burn normal. Check on our fuel here, make sure we're not wasting our monopropellant, and we are not. We're in good shape. Alright, we are now at the down node, so we're going to fix that. Oh, where it's a flipped orbit, you have to burn south for normal, not north. My mistake. Forgot that little ditty. And there we go. Mission complete. Alright, let's go ahead and get some science data while we're here. And there's our beautiful moon. Looks like one of the moon probes already picked up most of the stuff already in orbit. If that's the case, we're not going to get a lot here. But at least we're going to have a relay satellite for missions from Kerbin, which is the primary concern. Alright, so there's our satellite. Let's go back to the Space Center, and I'm going to go ahead and save the game. And that will be it for the evening. I am about beat. Now I've got to get up tomorrow to negotiate a loan, so thank you all for attending, and have a good night. Oh, let's go ahead and recover these right quick before we go.